J1 Park stood at the edge of Research Station Delta, her breath creating small clouds in the cold recycled air. The station's metallic corridors hummed with a low, persistent vibration that always made her feel slightly uneasy. Outside the reinforced windows, the barren research planet stretched endlessly, a landscape of gray rocks and distant purple mountains. Her scanning device blinked irregularly, catching something unusual in Sector 7. Most researchers would have ignored the faint signal, but J1 was different. She had always been curious, always wanted to understand what others might miss. The corridor was narrow and dimly lit. Emergency backup lights cast strange shadows on the metal walls, creating an eerie atmosphere that made her heart race slightly. Her fingers touched the small medical kit attached to her utility belt, a habit she'd developed during years of fieldwork. As she approached the source of the signal, the temperature dropped. Something was definitely not normal. The scanning device now showed a complex biosignature that didn't match any known species in the current research database. J1's scientific training battled with her growing sense of excitement and nervousness. Turning a corner, she saw it. Tucked behind a damaged research pod, a creature lay motionless. Not human. Not any species she had ever encountered in her years of study. Its body was covered in intricate biological markings that seemed to shift and change even as she looked. The creature was breathing, but barely. Multiple wounds covered its body, some looked like they were from energy weapons, others from something more brutal and physical. Its skin, a pale greenish blue, had a metallic sheen that reflected the emergency lights in strange patterns. J1 knew she had two choices. She could follow standard protocol and report the discovery, which would mean weeks of bureaucratic procedures and potentially losing whatever life remained. Or she could act now. Her medical training kicked in. She knelt beside the creature, her hands moving carefully. The body was warm, but not like any warmth she had felt before. It seemed to pulse with an internal energy that felt almost electrical. The scanning device now worked overtime, collecting data. Complex cellular structures. Advanced biological mechanisms. Something far beyond current human understanding. Each scan revealed more questions than answers. "Hey," she whispered, knowing the creature might not understand. "I'm going to help you." Her hands moved with practiced precision. Years of medical training in xenobiology had prepared her for unusual situations, but nothing could have prepared her for this moment. The creature's breathing was irregular, its body showing signs of multiple systemic failures. A soft sound emerged from the creature. Not words. Not a language. But something that sounded like a response. A communication beyond human comprehension. J1 realized she was witnessing something extraordinary. This wasn't just a rescue. This was first contact. This was a moment that could change everything humans understood about life in the universe. Her communication device remained silent. No one in the research station knew where she was. No one would know what she was about to do. The responsibility of this moment rested entirely on her shoulders. The creature's eyes, if they could be called eyes, shifted. They were not like human eyes. They seemed to be made of multiple shifting layers, changing color and texture with each passing moment. For a brief second, J1 felt like something was looking back at her. Not just seeing, but understanding. Her medical kit opened. Specialized tools designed for unknown biological entities came out. Each movement was calculated, careful. One wrong step could mean the difference between saving a life and causing irreparable damage. The station's background hum seemed to fade. All that existed in this moment was J1, the mysterious creature, and the potential of discovery that hung in the air like an electric charge. Something was about to change. Something significant. And J1 Park was exactly where she needed to be. The medical bay was silent except for the soft beeping of advanced scanning equipment. J1 carefully positioned the alien creature on a specialized examination table designed to adapt to unknown biological structures. Her hands moved with precision, connecting monitoring devices that seemed to struggle interpreting the complex life signs. Initial scans revealed something extraordinary. The creature's cellular structure was unlike anything in human medical databases. Each cell appeared to have multiple layers of protection, almost like tiny biological fortresses. Some cells seemed to communicate with each other in patterns that defied normal biological understanding. Temperature readings were unstable. One moment the body felt freezing, the next burning hot. J1 noticed strange markings across the skin, not just wounds, but what looked like intricate biological circuitry. These markings pulsed with a soft blue-green light, creating complex patterns that seemed to change with each breath. Blood samples, if they could be called blood, revealed a liquid that was part organic, part something entirely different. It shifted color and consistency, moving like a living entity inside the testing container. Traditional medical equipment struggled to analyze the samples. The creature's respiratory system was equally complex. Instead of lungs, there appeared to be a network of interconnected chambers that processed oxygen differently. Each breath seemed to generate a small electrical charge, making nearby equipment flicker momentarily. J1 realized this was more than just a medical examination. This was a discovery that could rewrite everything humans understood about biological life. Each scan revealed another layer of complexity, another mystery waiting to be understood. Genetic analysis showed modifications that suggested advanced technological intervention. Someone or something had deliberately altered this creature's biological structure. The modifications were so precise, so intricate, that they seemed more like art than scientific manipulation. The creature's brain structure was equally fascinating. Multiple neural networks existed simultaneously, suggesting a level of cognitive processing far beyond human comprehension. Traditional brain mapping techniques were useless here. Soft sounds emerged periodically. Not words, but communication signals. J1's translation software struggled, catching fragments of complex mathematical patterns instead of language. Each sound seemed to carry multiple layers of meaning. Wounds covered the creature's body. Some looked like they were from energy weapons, others from physical combat. Each injury told a story of survival, of something that had endured extraordinary circumstances. Hours passed. J1 barely noticed. Her entire focus remained on understanding this extraordinary being. Coffee grew cold. Monitoring devices continued their constant beeping. The research station around her seemed to fade into background noise. Slowly, carefully, a picture began to emerge. This was not just an injured creature. This was a being with a complex history, with stories embedded in its very biological structure. Someone or something had tried to destroy it, but failed. The creature's eyes remained closed, but occasionally they would move rapidly beneath closed lids. Dreams? Memories? Survival mechanisms? J1 could only guess. Her communication device remained silent. No reports filed. No colleagues informed. This discovery was hers alone, for now. The weight of potential scientific breakthrough rested entirely on her shoulders. As night cycle began in the research station, soft emergency lights created a dreamlike atmosphere in the medical bay. The alien creature continued to breathe. Slowly. Carefully. Surviving. J1 realized she was witnessing something more than a medical examination. This was a moment of connection. A bridge between known and unknown. Between human understanding and something entirely different. The creature's hand, if it could be called a hand, twitched slightly. A small movement. But for J1, it meant everything. Life. Potential. Hope. Something was about to change. And she was right at the center of it. 3 days had passed since the initial discovery. J1 had barely slept, her entire world now focused on understanding and helping the alien creature. Communication remained challenging, but small breakthroughs were happening. A specialized translation device slowly began decoding the creature's complex communication patterns. Not words, exactly, but intricate mathematical sequences that carried meaning. Each sound, each movement, revealed tiny fragments of a larger story. The creature, who J1 had mentally named Hannah, showed signs of increasing consciousness. Her body was healing in ways that defied medical understanding. Damaged cells would reconstruct themselves, creating new pathways of biological repair that seemed almost intelligent. J1 discovered the first significant clue during a routine scan. Hidden within Hannah's genetic structure were markers of scientific research. Not just simple modifications, but complex technological interventions that suggested a profound scientific background. Memories began to emerge. Fragmented. Incomplete. But enough to paint a picture of remarkable complexity. Hannah had been a researcher. A scientist working on something so significant that it had made her a target. The medical bay became a world of its own. Advanced equipment worked continuously, trying to understand the alien biology. Each scan revealed new mysteries. Each moment brought another layer of complexity. Specialized nutrient solutions were developed. Traditional medical approaches were useless. J1 created custom treatments that combined her medical knowledge with the unique biological requirements she was discovering. Hannah's body responded in unexpected ways. Damaged neural pathways would reconnect. Wounded tissues would regenerate with remarkable speed. It was like watching a living system that could consciously repair itself. Communication remained challenging but improved. Mathematical sequences slowly transformed into something resembling language. Fragments of a story began to emerge. A civilization. A conflict. A betrayal. J1 learned that Hannah was part of an advanced scientific community. Her research threatened powerful political structures. The modifications to her body were both a weapon and a defense mechanism. The research station felt different now. What had started as a routine mission had become something extraordinary. A potential bridge between species. A moment of unexpected connection. Hannah's eyes would occasionally open. Not human eyes. Complex structures that seemed to see beyond physical reality. Each glance carried a weight of intelligence that made J1 feel both excited and slightly afraid. Specialized medical protocols were developed. Each treatment was a careful dance of human understanding and alien biology. Traditional medical training meant nothing here. J1 was creating something entirely new. The station's computer systems struggled to process the data. Complex biological information that defied current scientific understanding. Each scan, each test, revealed another layer of mystery. Slowly, carefully, Hannah was becoming more than just a patient. She was becoming a partner in discovery. A being with a story waiting to be understood. J1's colleagues would never believe this. No reports had been filed. No official documentation existed. This was her discovery. Her responsibility. As station lights cycled between day and night, the medical bay remained a world of its own. Advanced equipment hummed. Monitoring devices blinked. And in the center, a human and an alien slowly began to understand each other. Something remarkable was happening. A restoration not just of a body, but of hope. Of potential. Of connection between two completely different forms of intelligent life. Hannah's hand moved. A small gesture. But for J1, it meant everything. Communication. Understanding. The first steps towards something extraordinary. The universe, it seemed, had more secrets than anyone could imagine. And they were unfolding right here, in this small medical bay, on a distant research station, between a human researcher and an alien survivor. 2 weeks had passed since Hannah's discovery. The medical bay had transformed into a makeshift research laboratory, filled with complex equipment and scattered data tablets. J1 and Hannah worked together, their communication now a blend of advanced translation technology and intuitive understanding. Hannah's scientific knowledge began to merge with J1's human perspective. They discovered something extraordinary, a potential medical treatment that could revolutionize understanding of cellular regeneration. The research went beyond human or alien boundaries, creating something entirely new. Their first breakthrough came unexpectedly. Hannah used her advanced biological knowledge to modify a standard medical scanning device. What once took hours now took minutes. Complex genetic sequences could be analyzed in moments, revealing intricate details that human technology had never captured. The research station felt different. Something important was happening. The usually sterile corridors now buzzed with an energy of discovery. Other researchers noticed changes but kept their distance, unsure of what was happening in J1's restricted medical section. Technological barriers began to fall. Hannah's understanding of molecular reconstruction combined with J1's medical training created solutions that seemed almost magical. They developed a treatment protocol that could potentially help patients with previously untreatable genetic disorders. Communication became more fluid. Mathematical sequences transformed into complex conversations. Hannah shared fragments of her previous research, a scientific breakthrough that had made her a target in her own civilization. Political structures had tried to suppress her work, seeing it as a threat to existing power systems. The computer systems struggled to process their collaborative research. Each new discovery pushed the boundaries of current scientific understanding. Algorithms designed for human data couldn't fully comprehend the complexity of their findings. J1 realized they were creating something more than just medical research. This was a bridge between species. A way of understanding that went beyond traditional scientific boundaries. Each moment brought new revelations. Hannah's body continued to heal. But it was more than physical recovery. She was rebuilding herself, using her own advanced biological knowledge combined with J1's medical support. It was a dance of survival and discovery. The research station's isolation became an advantage. No external interference. No bureaucratic limitations. Just pure scientific exploration. Two intelligent beings working together to understand something extraordinary. Late at night, when station lights dimmed, they would continue working. Hannah's complex biological structures would project holographic research data. J1 would analyze, modify, explore. Their collaboration knew no traditional boundaries. Diplomatic channels began to show interest. Encrypted messages suggested that someone was paying attention to the unusual research coming from this remote station. But J1 and Hannah remained focused on their work. The medical treatments they developed could change everything. Genetic reconstruction. Cellular regeneration. Treatment for diseases that had previously been considered impossible to cure. Each breakthrough was a step towards something remarkable. Hannah shared stories of her civilization. A complex society of scientists and political structures. Her research had been considered dangerous because it challenged existing understanding. She had been targeted, abandoned, left to die. J1 understood now. This was more than a medical rescue. This was a rescue of knowledge. Of potential. Of hope. Their work continued. Days blended into weeks. The research station became a world of its own. A place where human and alien intelligence merged to create something extraordinary. Small victories happened daily. A new understanding. A breakthrough in medical technology. A moment of connection that went beyond species, beyond traditional scientific boundaries. Hannah's eyes, complex, shifting structures that seemed to see beyond physical reality, would look at J1. Not just seeing, but understanding. A connection that went beyond words. Beyond technology. A pure exchange of intelligence and hope. The universe, it seemed, had more secrets than anyone could imagine. And they were unfolding right here, in this small research station, between a human researcher and an alien survivor. Something remarkable was happening. A collaboration that could change everything. Months had passed since Hannah's initial discovery. The research station had transformed, becoming something more than a simple scientific outpost. J1 and Hannah's collaborative work had attracted attention from scientific communities across multiple human research networks. Their breakthrough came unexpectedly. A medical treatment that could regenerate damaged cellular structures with unprecedented precision. It wasn't just a scientific discovery, it was a complete revolution in medical understanding. International research teams began arriving. Carefully vetted. highly secured. Each scientist approached with a mixture of excitement and skepticism. But the evidence was undeniable. Something extraordinary had happened in this remote research station. Hannah's original research, the work that had made her a target in her own civilization, now became a beacon of hope. Genetic modifications that could help patients with previously untreatable conditions. Cellular regeneration techniques that defied current medical understanding. The diplomatic implications were massive. What had started as a simple rescue had become a potential bridge between species. Hannah's knowledge, combined with J1's human perspective, created something entirely new. Government research facilities showed intense interest. Classified briefings. Secured communication channels. Each piece of research was carefully examined, evaluated, protected. The potential was too significant to be ignored. J1 found herself at the center of something remarkable. Her small act of compassion, saving a wounded alien, had transformed into a scientific breakthrough that could change everything. Medical treatments. Genetic research. Understanding of biological life. Hannah continued to recover. Her body, once broken and abandoned, now represented hope. A living testament to survival and scientific potential. Each day brought new discoveries, new understanding. The research station became a symbol of something greater. A place where species boundaries disappeared. Where scientific curiosity transcended traditional limitations. Where compassion met extraordinary intelligence. International scientific conferences discussed their work. Presentations showed how a human medical student and an alien researcher had created something unprecedented. A collaboration that went beyond traditional scientific boundaries. Genetic treatments developed from their research began helping patients. Children with previously untreatable genetic conditions found hope. Medical researchers saw possibilities they had never imagined. Hannah's original civilization tried to intervene. Diplomatic channels became complex. But the research was already out. Knowledge cannot be contained once it is discovered. Their work had become bigger than any single political structure. J1 realized they had done something extraordinary. They had created a bridge. Not just between species, but between different ways of understanding the universe. Scientific knowledge that transcended traditional boundaries. The research station continued its work. Each day brought new discoveries. New possibilities. The collaboration between J1 and Hannah had become something legendary in scientific circles. Media stories began to emerge. Carefully controlled. Highly classified. But the core message was clear. A human researcher had saved an alien scientist. And together, they had changed everything. Hannah's complex biological structures continued to fascinate researchers. Her body was a living testament to scientific potential. Each scan revealed new mysteries. New possibilities for understanding life itself. International research grants poured in. Universities competed to collaborate. The potential of their work was too significant to be ignored. A complete reimagining of medical science was happening. J1 sometimes looked back at that moment in the research station corridor. A simple decision to help a wounded creature had transformed into something extraordinary. A moment of compassion had changed everything. The universe, it seemed, had more secrets than anyone could imagine. And they were unfolding through an unexpected collaboration. A human medical student. An alien researcher. A discovery that would change everything. Something remarkable had happened. A transformation that went beyond species. Beyond scientific understanding. A pure expression of hope, intelligence, and unexpected connection. Their story was just beginning.